Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a completely different journey of discovery. Are you tired of the glossy films and articles praising the mystical beauty of famous destinations? Today, we'll pull back the velvet curtain and take you to a travel reality few dare to speak of, the hidden corners, the hard-to-swallow truths, and sometimes horrifying realities in one of the world's largest tourism powerhouses, China. Have you ever wondered if every majestic mountain you see online is real? Or can you imagine going to the beach and having to pass through an X-ray scanner like at an airport? And is there a Chinese version of an elf protection agency secretly operating? Spoiler, probably not, but what's coming is even weirder. Fasten your seatbelts, because we're about to embark on a roller coaster of one-of-a-kind travel experiences where truth is stranger than fiction. Ready? Let's join us in uncovering 10 shocking truths about tourism in China in today's special documentary. 1. Made in China, Mount Fuji and the pinnacle of faking it for social media. Do you dream of admiring the majestic beauty of Mount Fuji, the symbol of Japan? But your wallet is tight, or your schedule doesn't allow it? Don't worry, China has a solution for you. In some cities, you can find Fuji replicas skillfully, or not so skillfully erected. Imagine this: you eagerly seek out a Mount Fuji check-in spot room on the internet. The promotional image shows a snow-capped mountain, standing tall against a blue sky. But when you arrive, what greets you is a structure made of dirt, cement, and perhaps even papier-mâché, poorly painted, standing forlornly next to an old apartment complex or a desolate vacant lot. Culture shock? Or an expensive lesson in the art of living AO, faking it for social media? This phenomenon isn't limited to Mount Fuji. From miniature Eiffel Towers, meticulously copied ancient European villages, to natural wonders recreated in unbelievable ways. The purpose? To attract tourists at all costs, creating million-like photos on social media, regardless of a reality that might make you fall flat on your face, be utterly shocked. Many tourists, especially young people, flock here, using numerous photo filters, choosing divine angles to create perfect pictures, continuing the cycle of these blatantly fake destinations. Is this a unique form of creativity, or just blatant deception? The answer probably depends on your perspective. But one thing is certain: it reveals an interesting and sometimes humorous aspect of modern tourism, where online images are sometimes more important than real experiences. Have you ever been scammed by a fake tourist spot? Share in the comments with 1. 2. Is cosplay a crime? When pop culture angers the sacred dragon. Are you a diehard fan of anime, manga, or video games like Genshin Impact? Do you love dressing up as your favorite characters and proudly showing off your elaborate cosplay? That's perfectly normal in most parts of the world. But in China, sometimes, this passion can bring you unexpected trouble. Imagine this: you, in the splendid costume of Raiden Shogun from Genshin Impact, are striking poses in a public park. Suddenly, you're approached by security personnel, asked to leave, and possibly even stared at, pointed at, and filmed by onlookers with disapproving attitudes. The reason? Your costume looks like Japanese attire and is considered inappropriate, even culturally offensive. It sounds unbelievable, but such incidents have happened and sparked fiery debates on social media. Many argue this is a manifestation of a harmful confusion between fantasy costumes and traditional Japanese attire, kimono, yukata. Others point out that behind these negative reactions might be simmering historical and political tensions between China and Japan, making anything Japan-related potentially sensitive. What's noteworthy is that there isn't always a clear rule banning cosplay. It often depends on the subjective judgment of the management staff at that location, or the crowd's reaction. This creates an awkward and frustrating situation for the cosplayer community, as they don't know if they're inadvertently violating some unwritten law. Personal freedom, freedom to express passion, seem to be secondary to concerns about traditional customs and morals, or sometimes extreme cultural interpretations. Is this a form of reverse cultural harassment, where pop culture enthusiasts themselves become victims? If you think this is a concerning issue, leave a comment with 2. 3. A literal sea of people, the horror of squeezing through at tourist paradises. Have you seen photos of the majestic Great Wall, winding through endless mountains, or the magnificent Forbidden City with its ancient grandeur? Or perhaps the beaches of Dalmatia in Shenzhen, advertised as poetic with fine white sand? Brace yourselves, because reality can be a nightmare for anyone crowd-averse. Imagine, instead of vast spaces to admire and take photos, you find yourself stuck in a literal sea of people. Millions of people, yes, you heard that right, millions of people flock to one spot at the same time, especially during major holidays like Golden Week. On the Great Wall, you'll see a dense stream of people, moving inch by inch, your view completely blocked by the heads and backs of those in front. In the Forbidden City, navigating through courtyards or getting inside palaces is a survival challenge. And Dalmatia Beach? Forget lounging leisurely on the sand. Instead, you'll see a dense, human carpet, so thick it's hard to find an empty spot to stand, let alone swim or build sandcastles. The air is suffocating, the noise incessant, and the feeling of being constantly jostled and pushed. Videos capturing these scenes frequently go viral on social media, accompanied by humorous, sarcastic, or sometimes indignant comments about the lack of organization and terrible travel experiences. This isn't just a problem at a few isolated destinations. It's a common phenomenon at many famous landmarks in China. The overwhelming, suffocating, and sometimes helpless feeling in the face of enormous crowds is something many tourists have to endure. Is this the price to pay for checking in at famous places? Or a wake-up call about tourism management and tourist awareness? Would you dare to challenge yourself with such a trip? Let us know your thoughts with 3. 4. Mind-blowing entertainment, when history becomes an insensitive joke. Tourism isn't just about sightseeing, it's also about experiencing culture and history. But sometimes, the way some tourist spots in China recreate history makes one seriously question their sensitivity and appropriateness. Can you imagine a theme park organizing entertainment activities, including a reenactment of Chinese soldiers attacking and killing people dressed as World War II-era Japanese soldiers? It sounds like a scene from an old war movie, but this is an activity openly promoted to attract tourists in some places. Tourists, including children, are encouraged to participate, cheer, and even join the battle themselves. Such events, though justified as patriotic education or reliving history, often cause fierce controversy, not only domestically but also internationally. Turning painful historical pages, tragic war memories into entertainment, an interactive drama that is somewhat violent and disrespectful, is unacceptable to many. It not only reopens historical wounds unnecessarily but also risks spreading negative, hateful messages, especially to the younger generation. Videos of these activities, when they appear on international social media, often receive a barrage of criticism. Many consider this a form of tasteless, thoughtless entertainment, completely unsuited for a tourism environment that should promote understanding, respect, and cultural exchange. Is there a better way to convey historical messages without resorting to such controversial reenactments? This is a big question about the responsibility of the tourism industry and how we confront the past. If you find this topic thought-provoking, leave a comment with 4. 5. Photoshopped tourist paradises, the naked truth behind million-like photos. In the digital age, tourism promotional images are becoming increasingly dazzling and magical. Azure beaches, misty mountains, ancient cities devoid of people. But what percentage of that is true? In China, some argue there's a significant discrepancy between images promoted by the government or tourism companies and the reality tourists experience. On one hand, you see meticulously polished films and photos, showcasing a beautiful, modern country with a strong economy and happy people. Images of tourist crowds are sometimes even used as proof of a strong economic recovery, showing that people can afford to travel and spend. However, the reality at many destinations is a different story. As we mentioned in 3, overcrowding is a pressing issue. Tourist paradises often turn into seas of people. Trash can appear in unexpected places, and service quality sometimes doesn't match the flowery advertisements. Cheap tourism, $0 tours might attract a large number of visitors, but the quality of the experience is a big question mark. This contrast is easily seen in exposé posts on social media, where tourists share before and after Photoshop images, comparing ads with reality. This raises questions about transparency in the tourism industry. Is sugarcoating reality a smart promotional strategy, or is it gradually eroding tourists' trust? And do cheap crowds truly reflect the health of an economy, or are they just a superficial indicator? This is an interesting debate about how a country builds its tourism image. What do you think about this issue? Share your opinion with 5. 6. Stormy holidays, when Mother Nature unleashes her fury on tourists. Planning a dream vacation, you've surely envisioned sunny days, fresh air, and wonderful experiences. But Mother Nature sometimes has other plans, especially in a vast country with diverse terrain and climates like China. Imagine you're eagerly exploring the poetic beauty of West Lake in Hangzhou, a famous World Heritage Site. But instead of clear blue water and weeping willows, you're faced with a torrential downpour, making everything bleak, or worse, a small flood leaving many areas mired in mud. Or you plan to conquer the majestic Gobi Desert, only to be greeted by an unexpected sandstorm, reducing visibility to a few meters, sand swirling everywhere, and your adventure suddenly turning into a struggle for survival. Extreme weather phenomena like sandstorms, floods, hailstorms, dense fog, or even unseasonal snow at unexpected times can completely ruin a trip. Images of tourists shivering in the rain, battling strong winds, or stranded due to bad weather frequently appear on news reports and social media. This is especially true for outdoor tourist spots, where beauty heavily depends on weather conditions. Although no one can control the weather, these incidents remind us of the importance of thoroughly checking forecast information, preparing backup plans, and perhaps even purchasing travel insurance. It also shows another aspect of tourism, where human fragility in the face of nature's power is clearly demonstrated. Have you ever had a memorable travel experience due to weather? Tell us by commenting with 6. 7. X-rays even for the beach? Security control or a prison in disguise? Security is a crucial element in tourism, ensuring visitor safety. However, at some tourist spots in China, security measures are considered so strict that they cause inconvenience, a sense of suffocation, and even invade privacy. Can you imagine having to book online days, even weeks, in advance just to visit a public park or a beach? Upon arrival, you have to queue for a long time, present identification, and go through multiple security checks, including X-ray scanners like at an airport, just to go swimming. Yes, some famous beaches have implemented this process, making many feel like they're entering a military zone rather than going on vacation. Strict regulations don't stop there. At many temples and historical sites, photography and videography are severely restricted. Tourists can be closely monitored by security staff or eagle-eyed volunteers. Carrying certain personal items may also be inexplicably prohibited. While the purpose of these measures might be to protect heritage, ensure order, or prevent undesirable activities, the execution is sometimes deemed excessive. It creates a tense, unfree atmosphere, diminishing tourists' comfort and joy of exploration. Many, especially international tourists accustomed to greater personal freedom, feel uncomfortable and question the balance between security and the travel experience. Is this a worrying trend, with tourist spots increasingly resembling tightly controlled fortresses? Let us know your opinion with 7. 8. What is personal space? The horrifying sardine can experience and public hygiene. Returning to the crowd issue we discussed in 3, one of the most direct and unpleasant consequences is the severe invasion of personal space and related hygiene problems. Imagine being squeezed tightly in a crowd, shoulder to shoulder, back to back, so much so that you can feel the breath and body odor of those around you. There's no room to maneuver or move. The feeling of being packed like sardines in a can is a common experience at peak-hour subway stations, on buses, and, of course, at overcrowded tourist spots. Accidentally touching others, or being touched by others, is unavoidable, causing discomfort and sometimes frustration. And when millions of people gather in one place, public hygiene becomes a real nightmare. Public restrooms, if available in sufficient numbers, are often overwhelmed, filthy, and lack basic supplies. Trash can pile up in hidden corners, or even be littered carelessly right in an attraction areas. Unpleasant odors from various sources can completely spoil the atmosphere of the trip. Although authorities have made many efforts to improve, with the sheer scale of the population and the huge number of tourists, this remains a major challenge. The risk of stampedes, though rarely mentioned directly in tourism ads, is always a potential threat in overly crowded places. Videos capturing chaotic scenes and pushing at festivals or large events show the existing danger. This is a harsh reality that tourists need to be prepared for, especially if you're not used to crowded environments and a lack of personal space. Do you have any tips for dealing with this situation? Share with us by commenting with 8. 9. Holidays, a luxury, the 996 pressure and stolen travel dreams. We've talked a lot about tourists' experiences, but what about the local people? Do they have enough time and resources to enjoy the wonders in their own country? The answer might surprise you. Do you know about the 996 work culture? That's working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, a common reality in many industries, especially the tech sector in China. Extremely high work pressure, fierce competition, and fear of job loss prevent many workers from daring to take long vacations, or even having enough legally entitled leave. Holidays, for many, become a luxury. Even when they have time, they often can only travel during major public holidays, contributing to the seas of people we've seen. The dream of a relaxing trip, exploring new lands at a leisurely pace, seems increasingly distant. The pressure to earn money, get promoted, and secure the future forces many young people to temporarily set aside personal hobbies and the need for rest. This story might not be as visually striking as fake tourist spots or crowded throngs, but it reflects a deeper societal aspect, affecting how people perceive and experience tourism. It also raises questions about the balance between economic development and quality of life, between work and personal time. Can a country truly achieve sustainable development if its people don't have enough time to rest and regenerate? This is a topic worth pondering, not just in China but in many other countries around the world. If you're interested in work culture and its impact on tourism, leave a comment with 9. 10. Street Food Horror Edition, When Dishes Go Beyond Imagination. Chinese cuisine is world-renowned for its diversity, richness, and unique flavors. Exploring street food is an essential part of the travel experience for many. However, sometimes, what you encounter at food stalls can go far beyond your imagination, even shocking the most courageous foodies. Forget delicate dim sum or famous Peking duck. In some night markets or remote regions, you can find specialties that will make you freeze in your tracks. From skewers of scorpions, grasshoppers, and fried silkworm pupae, to more hardcore dishes like fetal mice, monkey brains, though banned, they might still exist illicitly, or various animal organs prepared in unimaginable ways. For some, this is part of a unique cultural experience, a test of courage. But for many other tourists, especially those from different cultural backgrounds, these dishes can cause disgust, even nausea. Food safety at street food stalls is also a constant worry. Besides the horrifying dishes, differences in taste can also be a barrier. Food that is too spicy, too oily, or uses unfamiliar ingredients may not suit everyone. This reminds us that cuisine is an incredibly interesting part of culture, but it also requires openness and sometimes a bit of daring to explore. Have you ever tried a strange dish on your travels? What's the most horrifying food you've ever heard of or seen? Share by commenting with 10. We've just peeled back 10 somewhat shocking and lesser-known truths about the tourism industry in China. From man-made attractions to horrifying crowds, from strict control regulations to life pressures affecting rest. The purpose of this documentary is not to criticize or denigrate, but to offer a more multifaceted perspective, a reality that tourists might face. Travel, anywhere, has its downsides, its imperfections. Understanding these things will help us prepare better, have more realistic expectations, and perhaps, appreciate the good experiences we have even more. Thank you for joining us to the end of this thorny journey. Hopefully, it has brought you interesting information and a different spice to your travel knowledge. Do you agree with what we've shared, or do you have other experiences you'd like to tell? Don't hesitate to leave a comment. See you in the next videos, with even more surprising discoveries.